How's it going, boys? Johnny Superb, man, here, and it's time for another NHL 16 Shootout commentary. And we're going to continue to review some teams before the 2016-17 NHL regular season gets underway. We did the Leafs last time, now it's time for the New York Rangers. I want to give you guys my opinions on the Rags, because I feel like this team is due for a retool. They've made a strong push for the Cup since the 2012 NHL season, but just haven't been able to take that final step to win it. In the last 5 years, the Rangers have had one first-round exit, one second-round exit, two Eastern Conference Final exits, and a Stanley Cup loss. That is a very successful 5-year run, but for a team that has a cup or bust mentality, it's clearly just not good enough. Now, here's the issue with the Rangers, the way I see it. Do they continue to try to win the Cup with their current roster, or do they undergo a mini retool to make up for all the trades they've made for their Cup runs? I mean, listen to some of the trades that the Rangers have made in the last few years. New York acquires Eric Staal for 2 second-round picks and a prospect. This trade gave New York nothing but a first-round exit, and Eric Staal has moved on to the Minnesota Wild. So, a dud of a trade. Next one, New York acquires Keith Yandle, Chris Summers, and a fourth for Anthony Duclair, John Moore, and a first and a second. Keith Yandle moves on to Florida. They don't win a cup with him. Duclair, John Moore, a first and a second out of the roster. I mean, that's rough, man. Next one, New York acquires Martin St. Louis for Ryan Callahan and 2 first-round picks. At the time, it wasn't 2. It was a second, but a conditional second if they made it to the Eastern Conference Final or something. It ended up being Martin St. Louis straight up for Callahan and 2 first-round picks. Martin St. Louis did give New York a great 2 years, but no Stanley Cup. Callahan's still playing in Tampa, and they got those 2 draft picks, right? Next one, New York acquires Ryan Clough for 2 seconds and a third. Ryan Clough's now retired, didn't win a cup with them. More draft picks out the window. Next, New York acquires Rick Nash for Brendan Dubinsky, Artem Anisimov, Tim Erickson, and a first. Now, I know they still have Rick Nash, right? But a lot of Rangers fans saying that he disappears in the playoffs, haven't won a cup with them. And Dubinsky, Anisimov, Erickson, I don't think has done anything. But that first-round pick, again, you just see the pattern here, right? Now, if they won a Stanley Cup from these trades, it would be different. But the facts are facts. The Rangers traded draft picks and prospects for veterans and have no cup to show for it. Eventually, boys, the bottom is going to drop out. Trust me, I know. I'm a Leaf fan. Now, I really believe the Rangers need to shake it up a bit and focus on bringing in younger talent while moving out older guys. The Metropolitan Division is also changing very rapidly. Teams like Washington and Pittsburgh, we know they're going to be studs. Look at Philadelphia and the Islanders, maybe teams on the brink of becoming divisional playoff teams, right? Not wildcard teams. They look to be the favorites in the division this year, those 4 teams. And then teams like Carolina and New Jersey, they're expected to be better than last year. So where does that leave the New York Rangers? Now, the reason I don't believe the Rangers need a full-on rebuild is because they still have some nice pieces with a lot of trade bait to retool with. Derek Stepan is 26 with 5 years left. Derek Brassard is 28 with 3 years left. Matt Zuccarello, 28 with 3 years left. JT Miller just signed for 2 years. Chris Kreider and Kevin Hayes are both, I think they're both going into salary arbitration right now, but they're both in their mid-20s. Ryan McDonough is 27 with 3 years left. Mark Stahl, even though his name has been popping up in trade rumors, he's 29 with 5 years left. And of course, the big question mark, Henrik Lundqvist at 34 years old with 5 years left. Now, the reason Lundqvist is a question mark for me is because of his age. Now, hear me out. I have no doubt that Henrik Lundqvist is still an elite NHL goaltender. I'm not taking anything away from him. But the question I have is, for how much longer? His trade value right now is as high as it's ever going to be. And if the Rangers are truly retooling, then they need to bring in lots of young talent. If New York traded away Rick Nash, Dan Girardi, and Henrik Lundqvist, then they would be able to bring in some nice young pieces. However, they would probably miss the playoffs this year. This is why the Rangers are a tweener team. Just as many arguments to keep the veterans as there are to trade them. I already know what the diehard Ranger fans are saying. There's no way Henrik Lundqvist could be moved out. The guy's got to retire as a Ranger. I'm on board with you. I hear you guys. But you can expect the next 5 years in his contract for more of the same. shame. The Rangers not winning Stanley Cups. I feel like their time has come and gone. That 2012 year where you lost to the Devils in the Eastern Conference Finals. Oh, ball buster. The 2000 and what was it, 14, where you lost to the LA Kings in the finals. I mean, they dominated you 4-1, but still ball buster. And then losing to the Tampa Bay Lightning in was it 7 games or 6 games, something like that, in the Eastern Conference Final. Ball buster. I mean, you had 3 years there where you were in the Final Four and you couldn't get a Stanley Cup. It's not going to remain forever, right? Eventually, you do have to move on. And if you hold on to these veterans, like I said, the trade value is going to go down, and you're not going to replace or be able to replace all the draft picks and prospects you moved out to try to win that Stanley Cup. Eventually, you do have to do that retool, right? So what do you guys think? It's a very complicated issue with the New York Rangers. If they keep the exact same roster with the veterans, then they probably will be a playoff team next year. But will they win that Stanley Cup? The Rangers ain't looking for a first, second, third round exit, even a Stanley Cup exit. Nah, man, they want that Stanley Cup. So I'm going to put the questions to you guys because I don't know what to do. I mean, if I was a Ranger fan, I wouldn't want to see Lundqvist traded. But as a, unbiased, impartial Toronto Maple Leaf fan, if they gave me the reins as the general manager, I would go through a 1 or 2 year mini retool. The veterans gone. Let the guys in their 20s play it. Bring in prospects, bring in draft picks, and let the franchise just do a mini retool. That's the way I see it, boys. What do you guys think? Let me know, and we're going to continue this over the summer to talk about not every NHL team, because I won't get to them all, but a lot of the ones that I want to talk about. All right, boys, so let me know what you guys think, and I will see you in the next one. Be sure to check out our website, 2bcsports.com, where the hockey talk continues. Find myself and others in the live interactive chat, or dive into the active forums to talk about sports and gaming. You can also find us on Twitch, where the live streams come to life.